Hi everyone, Bart the Nature Guy. I am out in the woods that's attached to the Hennepin Technical College in Eden Prairie. And the great thing about this college is that back in the day, I also taught like agriculture and other pieces. And so they actually have 100 acres of beautiful woods attached to their campus. And a lot of people don't know about it. It is a beautiful, beautiful spot. I really encourage you to, if you have that opportunity to visit it ever, it's really cool. It's kind of on the east side of Starring Lake, and the animals are abundant. And if you give yourself a chance to kind of settle into the space, they will definitely kind of come alive. I would definitely say, just as a general rule, if you choose to kind of go out in nature and you want to see animals, you almost have to sit for maybe 10 to 20 minutes before they actually will kind of let your presence in the woods will kind of uh, blend in with what's happening around. As we walk, we walk with a kind of a natural cadence of step, 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 step. That's not a sound that is very common in nature, actually. Most footsteps, deer and many other animals tend to stop or step in sequences of odd numbers, like two or three. So they'll go step, 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 and they'll take five steps, step, 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 and then they'll hold, and they're looking around. It's part of their defense mechanisms. But our kind of constant cadence of stepping doesn't really sound natural to most animals in the woods, and so they'll kind of hold up for a little while, wondering what's going on. They may not even see you, but they can definitely hear you. Their ears and their sense of presence of something happening in the woods that's not the norm is very, very strong. And so today's invitation, actually, I wanted to go over a sit spot and just kind of talk about that very first thing, which is finding a spot where you can just kind of sit and be. It can be on the back step of your house. It doesn't have to be deep into the woods like this. I'm only 100 steps away from my vehicle, so I'm not really that deep into nature. Even when I'm a forest therapy guide, and we talk about using a place called Satoyama, because the forest therapy guiding that I do comes from Japan, and Satoyama is a blend of two words, Sato and Yama, which means kind of cultivated and wild. And so when I do these nature invitations, I like to find those spaces between like wild and cultivated, and that can even be just 100 feet away. So because some people being out in the middle of the woods can actually be pretty nerve-wracking. So I always want that to be something that feels safe, that feels comfortable for people, but also getting off the beaten track a little bit. A lot of the city parks that are around. In Minneapolis have like they'll have the flat land, the mowed cultivated park system where there's great trees and there's great playgrounds and there's soccer fields. But just if you go off to the side, sometimes you might be able to find a nice little piece of woods that's oftentimes kind of a buffer between the residential and the park scene. Very common would be like the Minnehaha Park area in the west. Up north, Theodore Wirth absolutely carries those different properties that for myself as a forest therapy guide I'm always looking for. And as a forest therapy guide, really my first job is to help us engage our senses. It's something that we all have. So we have our sight, we have our nose for smell, we have taste, we have our ears, and also the touch, right? And so we also have a sixth sense, and that's what I was talking about when those animals kind of feel our presence. We also carry that. I'm sure if you've ever walked in on two people having a conversation you weren't supposed to be a part of, and you kind of walk into a room, you're like, oh, I need to step back out of here. This isn't really my conversation. They didn't say anything to you, but you definitely felt there was something not okay with that situation. We all carry that sixth sense or that instinct or gut reaction, and I really encourage you to be strong with that. And we carry that in the woods too. If you feel like something's happening, and especially when we get into the wilderness, kind of more like awarenesses or survival stuff, like knowing when to say when, like I think I'm a little lost. That's an important quality to have in ourselves, to trust our guts. So we'll work on that throughout the year. But for the first invitation, I just invite you to find a spot to sit, something that you come back to daily, weekly. Maybe it's just during the time of this video, and you remind yourself of that. Or you just need a break from your home. Being on screens is really tough for our eyes. It also could be in the house with other family members all the time. Usually school kind of gave us a break from those family members. With COVID, we've been really with people a lot, more than maybe even we're used to. Maybe parents are working from home, or a parent or guardian is working from home as well. And that's not something that's been in your life maybe for many, many years. So having a little bit of a break, stepping outside, finding a spot to sit, is great, and having it so it's consistent. And if you look out here, this beautiful woods, giving yourself 10 to 15 minutes. I was just out here for about 20 minutes, and I was looking I'm going to take my hand, I was looking all out in here, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, I have this giant, big, beautiful, kind of broken stump in front of me, and I just started to focus on that as well. And I started really focusing on, if I step forward, on these leaves that are just kind of hanging out on this tree. But I will tell you, it actually took me probably 5 to 10 minutes to even see the stump. I was actually, my vision was all over here, it was up in the sky. And then as I went to the stump, I actually worked my way towards the ground. So if you spend time, you can get concentrated on anything. You might spend the whole time on this stump. You might spend the whole time looking at the sky and the clouds. If it's rainy and the weather's not good, you might actually just, and later I'll do a nature invitation for you called Drop Watch, where we simply, on those rainy days, and we know rain's coming up, I'll try to prep that and just watch how the kind of rain from the sky interacts with the earth, whether it be from leaves to the ground. You could watch a puddle and all the drops in there. It's just chilling out. The feeling that a lot of people describe it as, if you've ever been around a bonfire or a fireplace and you kind of gaze into that fire, and it just kind of gets where the point where your vision almost like you kind of lose yourself in it in that moment. That's all these nature invitations are meant to do, is to help you kind of lose yourself into the moment of being with nature. And so there's a lot of ways to do that. It's my job to kind of bring you to those places and provide you some different ways to do that. And so that's what these nature invitations were going to be about. I'm just introducing you today to that concept, and I will actually have you breathe the air in, actually taste the air. Actually, we'll be using your nose. I'll actually ask you just to kind of really concentrate on your sense of smell outside. Actually closing our eyes and focusing on our hearing a little bit. Maybe interacting with, you can see the shadow of how my skin interacts with shadow and light or heat. Or if you're around water, maybe putting your hand in that puddle that you're watching if it is raining outside, or feeling the rain interact with your skin. Or it could be actually just walking up and seeing what actually something feels like. And so there's lots of ways to engage our senses, and also that sixth sense that I was just talking about, that gut sense. I may actually have you close your eyes and spin, and then slowly open your eyes and kind of see where you put yourself, and understanding that you stopped for a reason, and that reason was absolutely right, and it was right inside your system to say, I feel okay and safe to stop here. And then you open your eyes almost like you're seeing it for the first time. I definitely know in some of the invitations that I've done with other forest therapy guides, will actually act like everything that we're seeing is saying hi to us. And it sounds kind of odd to put it in that direction, but everything here in nature is welcoming you to this place. It wants you to be here. And a lot of times we as humans tend to act like we're not a part of this. We tend to act like we're outside of nature and not necessarily part of it. We kind of observe it from the outside. It's more of a fishbowl effect that we give nature. Our parks, even our national parks, are like that. They don't want you to go off trail. They don't want you to really engage with nature. My work will be to help engage nature as much as we can. So if you see something that you want to, reach out and kind of interact with, I want you to see if that feels right. If it's not going to be destroying anything, I definitely want you to do that. And we can go forward with a lot of conversation in classes, even virtually. So everybody's going to have me in class in a different way. But this is my first invitation of the year. I just want you to find a place to sit that's easy to get to, that you can engage when you need maybe a little bit of stress relief, or you just want to take a break from the screen. There's no stress there. You're just like, I just want to be able to hang out for a second and not be inside my house. Or maybe it's just you don't have the opportunity to leave the house. Maybe you have little ones at home that you're also watching at this time, and maybe it's just finding a spot in the window. I definitely know at some of the buildings we weren't able to leave all the time, especially in the winter when it got really cold. It wasn't comfortable for people, and we just put ourselves and kind of planted ourselves up against the window. So you really did just use the visual. So you're not going to use all your senses at that time, but the visual is definitely there. And also the hearing. There's a lot of times you can just crack a window, even in the wintertime, to hear what's happening outside. So lots of what I hope will be fun and interesting and unique experiences for you all this year. I'm really looking forward to a new school year with you as things get rolling, and every teacher's going to use me a little bit different. So I just want to say thanks for your time, and I look forward to working with each one of you and providing some invitations with nature. This is invitation one, is to see if you can find that spot to sit for a little while, and if you can be with that spot for at least a full 10 minutes and possibly 20 to 30 minutes, that would be an awesome accomplishment for the week on my end. So you'll see that my goals and accomplishments are very different sometimes than what a teacher's is. I want you to sit still and do nothing outside for 30 minutes. So peace out, everybody. Take care, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.